Good morning, everybody. Welcome back into the one and only AM show. Happy Wednesday once again. All right, folks, I cannot contain my excitement because as promised at the top of the show, we have Carmen Ortiz and Will Sanchez here from the Exodus Transitional Community located in the Bronx, New York. And I am super excited to have staff members from the Exodus community here with us. Of course, we're going to formally introduce them by reading the mission statement, but I want everybody, if you are in the H-Town area listening to us, or if you are watching us anywhere around the world on the ulfn.org app, would you show a warm AM welcome to Carmen Ortiz and Will Sanchez once again, everybody. Yes, everybody, I am so excited that you guys are here. Before I get into the mission statement, I gotta check in. How are you guys feeling this morning?
I'm at a 10 and I'm grateful to be here and very much honored.
Oh, I love that. I'm at a 10. I love that, Carmen. Will, how are we feeling?
I'm also at a 10 and ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I love it. So you guys, Will and Carmen, again, are from the Exodus Transitional Community, where they have been changing lives and restoring hope for over 25 years. I absolutely love that logo, and you guys can visit them on their website. But I had the pleasure and the opportunity to forming a personal relationship with Julio Medina, who's actually the boss and CEO, the creator, the founder of the Exodus community. And Julio has really been set on helping people rebuild their lives and thrive. So just a little bit, right, about Mr. Medina. In March of 1999, just 3 years after returning home, Julio Medina founded Exodus Transitional Community. With the help of one volunteer and a generous donation by our founding supporters, we have been able to grow from a one-room office at the Church of the Living Hope on East 104th Street, donated by the late Reverend Dr. Lonnie McLeod, to a multi-location justice organization serving over 3,000 New Yorkers everywhere. In conclusion, though grounded in our re-entry programs, Exodus Transitional Community offers a broad spectrum of services for adults and youth affected by the justice system. In addition, we are proud to lead the policy and advocacy efforts that promote positive change in our community. Whether through direct service or service referrals, our mission is to ensure our participants not only become contributing members of society, but also that we meet as many of their daily needs as possible to ensure they succeed and live well.
Right.
Well said. Definitely serving as a major agent of change. So you guys, I want to get right into the meat of this sandwich. Carmen, I'm going to start with you, my friend. Right. Tell me about your story and how your story, that trauma, that tragedy led you to Exodus.
Well, I would say I was justice impacted. I ended up in prison at the age of 15. I came home at the age of 21. It was kind of rocky in the beginning to get any employment due to the fact that you have to, to check the box of having a felony.
Yeah.
I kept working at it. I became security, so it was kind of hard to even get my security license. I got a certificate of conduct, which opened the doors for any licensed job. So I have my FO2 now. I have my F80. I'm a public safety officer. I have my security. And again, I started as security for Exodus. And then from there, they saw the potential in me, and I became a case manager.
Good for you.
Wow.
What a story.
What a story. Now, I can't, of course, help but not hear that you were justice impacted from the age of 15 to the age of 21.
Yes,
you were a baby. You were a baby when you were first justice impacted. 15 years old, right? Not even a young adult at that age. I want to know, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from that experience? Because that was about 5 to 7 years.
Yes, ma'am. I would say the biggest lesson would be, don't let your background dictate your future.
Yeah.
Because I would say that was my downfall. I let my background deter me from what I was supposed to do. So coming home, it would be that I did everything right to keep the future looking better for me, and I can help anybody else to make their future look better as well.
Yeah. So interesting. I'm curious, how did you maintain your sanity during that time?
Well, I would say the female prisons are kind of like different from the males.
How so?
For females, we didn't have a lot of the fighting. There's really no, the guns, well, the knives and things like that. It was more like the women would argue over the makeup.
Oh, really?
There's makeup in prison. So you can still feel like a female, or like you're on the outside world with the makeup, the personal clothing that they let you have. So if you get the shorts, you can have the 4 colors, like orange, gray, blue, or black, but you could get orange poom shorts, per se.
Okay.
So you'll have the girl shirt like from a rainbows, and with your makeup, and you'll still feel like you're not a prisoner.
Ooh.
And that mentally, that's what you need
And
to feel.
it helps you more like you're not in here. So I had the polo shirts and the dad hats, or the Timberlands, or the Uptowns, Nikes, where you don't feel like you in prison.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things will be taken away due to a lot of things. But again, for females, we didn't really have what men go through. But it's still, you're taken away from your family. There's sometimes no hot water, no heat, the snow, or we can't come out our dorms, Peter pay for Paul, there's a lot. But you stay structured, you want to come home, you do what you're supposed to do to come home.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you forge community while you were Justice? This is 6 years. Did you forge community to make it?
Yeah, and you would mean like in friendship.
Absolutely.
I had a few friends that I still conversate with to this day. We have barbecues. We call it the yard because the girl lives in a tenement. So you go to the back of our building. It looks like the setting of a yard. So we call it We Made It page.
Yeah.
So it's people that was in Albion Corrections, and we still hang out to this day, do barbecues, meet up, do birthdays.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For you.
Yeah.
And Will, I want to just ask you, how did you find Exodus? What's your story landing you at Exodus?
Well, I was familiar with Exodus on the inside. Having served 25 years, I had come across the Exodus group, as it is known on the inside. And the late Reverend Muller was very instrumental in who would come into Exodus, because he wanted people that wanted real change in their lives. He knew that one day we would rejoin society, and who was going to rejoin society was the big question. So he would have us, a lot of introspect, a lot of involvement within the community itself. And eventually coming out, there is a book that is published by the city. It's called Connections. Annually they publish it. So Exodus was always there. And I remember writing to Julio Medina and asking him for a letter of reasonable assurance, assuring the parole board that if they should release me on parole conditions, that Exodus would provide me with services. And so I did join their wilderness job readiness program, never expecting to become an employee of Exodus. I came in because I wanted to transition. I'm a little older, and I was in the construction field, and I wanted to use some of the skills that I had acquired while in prison as an administrative clerk/assistant. And Exodus put me right on the right path through the J2J services, which is jail to job services, and never once judged. There's something special about an organization when the CEO, the first question he asks you is, have you eaten? And he follows up with, where did you sleep last night? That to me tells me I'm in the right place. Whether I just got out or whether I've been out months and had no sense of direction, you feel the impact that the organization has, because the organization is you. And you can't become a part of the organization. They gave you a way out. Then I found out about the Alternative to Incarceration program, which was huge to me because as a person who formerly took from the community and took, I knew it was time to give back. I was not going to allow those 25 years to be in vain. I didn't grow up too far from here in the projects of Brownsville. So I knew what it's like to be marginalized even before I went to prison. And Exodus gives you the platform to demonstrate just how grateful you are about the change and the second chance you were given.
Wow.
Very well
said. Well said. So I'm just, you guys, the words and the testimonies actually are piercing me, because as you guys already know, I got to know about Exodus through a field trip. It was through a field trip, but through my professor, Dr. Willie Francois, who has great relationships with the staff members at Exodus personnel, specifically Mr. Julio Medina. And when I heard the stories of folks, being just justice impacted? 6 years, 25 years, 30 years, some 35 years plus. And now they are working for Exodus. This one got married, and this one received his master's degree, bachelor's degree. He's riding his motorcycle. He started his own side hustle, his business. I am flabbergasted, you know, in regards to the 180 that you've made. I think that takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of intentionality, a lot of healing, patience, unpacking that trauma. So Will, I heard, okay, so you were justice impacted for almost 30 years. That's a long time. Tell me how you survived.
Networking. You cannot do it alone. It takes a village, literally. And what I found was Exodus, for example, was that village within the prison setting. You can count on knowing that as an Eastern Correctional Facility, every Friday there is going to be a meeting. You're going to meet up with your counterparts. You're going to meet up with your spiritual siblings, if you may, and make the connections that you need to make. And you never know what else you're doing during the course of your time that will help move things along. But you cannot lose hope with this, which is why Exodus is so important, because the emphasis that is placed on the hope. You know, it's not what happens on day one when you have to file a few documents and whatnot with the organization. It's the transition itself, the process. We tell our participants in ATI, trust the process. The same way that you have your data in court and you have to go before a judge, all doesn't happen in a week. It's going to take time, but you trust the process.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of patience going through that too, because everything gets delayed, right?
Yes.
And how do you handle that delay? You know, what are you going to do with that? So I keep hearing from both of you guys that you guys went into Exodus because you need your own personal help. But what was that switch that you said, you know what, I'm ready and it's time for me to now help others? Because Carmen, you're a case manager, right, with ATI? So tell us about your specific switch and why you became a case manager.
Well, like I said, it started with me. I was security for the Exodus program at the hotels.
Got it.
So it would be that there would a couple of hard ones that didn't want to say follow protocol, things that they signed a contract, it would be that you have to follow the contract. So being security, I would step in when it was someone not listening or someone that didn't follow protocol or didn't want to obey the rules. So me being justice impacted, the first thing they would tell me is, get out of here, you're security, you don't know about this life. So it would be that I would tell them, listen, I am a 6-time felon, I've been in your shoes, but if I can change, you can too. But if this is the place you need, this is the place that's gonna help you, just follow suit. So when the site directors or anybody seen me talking to the participants and seen that they would really listen. Yeah, and we talking about the hardest people, bigger than him. They would give everybody else a hard way to go, but for me, they was listening, and I would break that barrier and they would follow protocol, follow the rules. So that's how I became a case manager, because I was more in tune with, just do this is gonna help you. And if somebody would have did it for me, it would have been a little bit more faster. But so if I'm there, I'm trying to help them. Listen, man, it can help you. This program can help you. This hotel, you need it. Let's do what we're supposed to do to get out of here. Get your voucher, you get your apartment. Other than that, that's what we're here for.
For you, it's that relatability.
Exactly.
Right?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's the relatability to it, because it's if you haven't been through it, don't speak to me. You don't know. And
you don't know.
And that's for so many different things in life. If you haven't lost somebody, you haven't been to prison, you can always wish oh, I'm wishing you well. Okay, you're wishing me well, but what? You've never been through it, you know?
Right.
So I think it's that connection that you have. Now, did you feel kind of a similar way with your experience with Exodus that transitioned you into working for them?
Well, once I learned they even had an alternatives to incarceration department, I was all in. That's where my resume was going. And although I came on board with them as a facilitator, which helped oversees the groups and present the material that we know would be pertinent to them moving forward, not just the program, but to I don't like using the term appease the court, but to demonstrate to the court that the change is in effect, that this person is not faking it till they're making it. They're actually applying what is being taught by people who have lived it. And so my career as a facilitator was short-lived, because they found that I was natural at being a case manager. And at first I didn't think much of it, but when you consider that I am actually helping the participant formulate a case plan that will work specifically for them, because not one size fits all. Everyone has individual needs. Everyone is facing individual charges leveled against them. And so the biggest pleasure has been when I know that I have zeroed in on what the courts are gonna nod a yes on, yes, this is what we want you doing, as opposed to automatically sending you to Rikers Island or on a bus upstate.
Right.
Wow, I am floored. I really do want to know, before we take a quick commercial break, what does the daily day, right? Every daily activity, what does that look like, you guys, on a regular Monday afternoon? What do your duties consist of as a case manager?
Well, for me, as soon as we walk in, if we're not doing screening form and full assessments, I have over 35 clients under me. He has way more clients than I do, but we have to be meeting with them, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, that they're in group, or if they're in any other programs, making sure that they go to those programs at the times they're supposed to, signing in, getting their Metro cards, making sure that we meet them where they're at.
Got it.
And they're following what they're supposed to follow to progress.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's an interesting, meet them where they're at, right? Not forcing them to go too far that's out of their comfort zone that they may just quit altogether.
I have
and go
one
back.
for you.
Yeah.
There's a participant that he comes late. I ended up in his house, in the living room, waking him up, making sure he comes to group.
I believe that. I believe that, because when I visited Exodus, they were very, very hands-on. It was one of the workers there, and I think he was speaking to maybe one of his clients, and he was asking her, where are you going? Are you coming back for group? He wasn't talking to me, but I was eavesdropping, and I was watching and observing, and she kept walking, and she was ignoring him, and he said, excuse me, Judea, where are you going? Are you coming back for group? We need you to come back. Did you eat today? Like, it was just very community oriented. Like, these people care.
Yes.
And you saw that. It was so evident when I visited Exodus. It was so
That's
obvious.
exactly what he said. He said,
Yeah.
I know you care because you're here, Carmen.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, I care. I want you to end up where I was or where he was.
Yeah. So hands-on.
And sometimes it's just knowing that someone cares. That's what can
Right.
help you get through, because a lot of people don't have someone that cares.
Yeah.
And you can take that for granted, right?
That part right
Definitely
there.
can. Whew, what a great
Absolutely.
conversation right now. All right, guys, we're just going to take a quick commercial break, a quick little break, but we're going to come back with more information about the entire Exodus program and everything that Carmen and Will are up to there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yes. The AM show. Again, we are here with staff members from the Exodus Transitional Community, Carmen Ortiz and Will as well, Will Sanchez. And you guys, we are at part 2 of this interview. If you're just now tuning in, you missed a little bit of the sweet part, but we have so much more for you guys. All right, folks. So before the break, we were speaking about the department that you guys actually work in, ATI. So tell us about that department, that program that's in Exodus. Tell us about the department, what it offers, the services, etc.
Well, if you have open case, you would come to ATI. We have anger management, we have gun and violence, critical thinking, certain groups that go particular with your case. So whatever goes with your case, that's how your schedule will look. If you work, you bring documentation, things of that nature. But it would be that you have to come to this group, or that the court mandated you to come to ATI. So you get a case manager. Again, you get your plan on what you're going to be doing, which will help you progress and help you grow, or make you a better person when it comes to the ATI program.
And it really caters to folks who have a felony or misdemeanor, I read.
Open
and
case.
It's also, open case. So is the program 6 months or 12 months? I saw options on the site.
Yes, there's a lot of options. It would be you got the 12-month or the 6 months, but again, it still goes on what your case is.
Okay.
So you could go fighting your case for 2 years, you're in Exodus for 2 years.
I see. And Will, why were you placed in that particular program? Were you placed there, or was that your choice? Why ATI?
ATI, I was interviewed for because once I found out they had a department, I had to be a part of it because being justice impacted myself.
Yeah.
Kind of like understanding what didn't work for me when I was on the receiving end, if you may, or as the defendant in a criminal matter, and came to understand that though I needed to take ownership over my past, poor judgment and bad decision making, there should have been also a way to allow me to earn my way back into society and at the table that is humanity. And so recognizing that Exodus ATI had this platform we're not saying give a person a free pass.
Yeah.
What we're saying is this person worthy of giving a program that would allow them to get rid of the behavior and the traits as opposed to sending them to prison. Now, we do know and recognize that there are candidates that are above a conversation, but that is what the criminal justice system is there for and is supposed to do. However, if this person poses no significant threat to society and has only in essence really been a threat to himself or herself, then this is the opportunity now where we try through an alternative to allow this person to earn their way back into this very conversation. And we do so with time. That's all we require. You know, our supervisor, Carmen Arroyo, loves to say that, you know, everything is a process, and at the same time, what is like process it's a slow process, you know, sometimes. We don't dictate how fast a person will pick up on what it is that they're supposed to be doing. But as Carmen would say, once you formulate a case plan for this person and allow them to work that case plan, the merits will go before the court. The court will determine whether or not this person is worthy of what we consider an ATI disposition, and the courts recognize, which is an alternative to incarceration as opposed to actual jail cell.
Got it. And I love that the program offers like mentoring and group leadership and development workshops. Do you guys, what's the level of fulfillment that you guys get out of that particular portion of the program? To be able to mentor someone, to be able to execute leadership development sessions. What's that like for you
Sometimes
guys?
it's even the referral. Sometimes we don't have all the answers. So, for example, Exodus has a Center for Trauma Innovation. And I emphasize them a lot because sometimes, I mean, we've all been through some form of trauma.
Yeah.
If you've written the A train, you've been through trauma.
Ain't that the truth?
That's
But when you've been through the criminal justice system, regardless to politics aside and all that, you need help. We all need help. And so we will refer someone there. Doesn't mean that the ATI staff is not equipped to have the conversation.
Got it.
But we much rather link you with the person that's going to make the difference for you.
Got it.
Whether it's a one-on-one session or whether it's a group session.
Got it.
They're there. They will allow you to get the answers that you've been looking for that perhaps the staff immediately doesn't have on hand. What do you do when someone walks in and tell you they're feeling suicidal?
Right, because oftentimes we always see that, you know, a lot of times the justice system, they just lock folks up instead of, it's like, okay, even though he does or she deserves that, is that going to help them mentally? You know what I mean? We talk about that all the time on the show. Okay, we understand they did what they did, but how are we going to get them the therapy that they need, the counseling that they need, the mentoring that they need? Maybe they need leadership skills. Maybe they need a director to help them in their life. So I love that ATI sort of serves as that liaison between the court and jail, essentially. I love that. It basically screams, wait a second, give them a minute, let's see what's really, really going on, right? Is this a good person that just made a bad decision? Let's see. And I love that. I love that so much.
Because us as humans, we're all about growth and we're all about learning. If you're hindered, if that growth is hindered, then what's the point? Why? We all need to learn to grow together. But my question is, so if you don't go to a place like Exodus, tell me, what is the hardships coming out of a 25-year incarceration? Like, what is that shock like if you don't have a place that has these resources and the ability, just so people can get a sense of, well, okay, that sounds great. You can go to these classes and do all this, but not everyone has that or has even knows maybe. And that's why it's important for people to hear about this program. So what are the hardships you face after that long of a sentence?
I think you cannot avoid the desperation of knowing that you took up, say, for example, vocational trades that when you step back out into society are obsolete. I was Department of Labor certified in repairing small engines. How much grass is being cut in Brooklyn, you know? So here it is now. I'm ill-equipped and ill-ready for what society has, you know, on hand. And so now I got to figure out something. And if not before a friend reminded me that Exodus was literally located right there in East Harlem, I was like, wow, I can take that train ride. And went there, and immediately, I remember the job coach, like, I was like, this is a little inquisitive, but she was actually, you know, garnishing from me the things that I was able to do and generating right in front of me an actual resume of the things that I was capable of doing, most of which, thank God, that Exodus would utilize to further help the cause that is rehabilitation after incarceration.
Yeah, no, I hear that. It just basically sounds like Exodus was you guys, both of you guys, a safe haven.
Yes.
That was a safe place for us to nest and learn and grow and be vulnerable and to grow without judgment.
Yep.
Without that, we wouldn't have, you guys probably wouldn't have anybody to teach you, to give you grace, to give you access to these programs. So I love that strong testimony. And speaking of programs, I want you folks to talk to me a little bit about the Peace Broker program. So, I love Exodus. So I've done my research, and I love that the Peace Broker program really just addresses the gun and the gang violence in Harlem. How has that been, you guys? Just watching, I know that ATI is your specialty, but what are your views on the Peace Broker program?
I mean, they're outside in the streets making sure that everybody's safe. I would say that.
Wow, what's their approach to that? Like, how does that look?
Wherever they see gun violence, they go and they talk to the community. So, like, we have a STAT program in Wagner right now, which there was a shooting in Wagner. So they go over there, they talk to the community. There's a lot of people in their group as well. But their main thing is to keep the peace. Let's stay together, stay a community. They do everything they can to keep the peace when it comes to the peace brokers, but what more can they do?
And that starts with conversation. That's what it sounds like. Just like your job as a case manager started with a conversation, started with relatability and vulnerability.
Yes,
wow, I love that. Now talk to me about the wellness program, because I studied that the wellness program really just caters to young adults, 18 plus, who have trouble with alcohol addiction or substance abuse. What is your POV in regards to the wellness program?
Well, I appreciate the hands-on approach. We literally walk our participants over to them because we're all located in the same 3rd Avenue. And what the participant feels like is one cousin visiting another. And here we are now, and it's an open secret, but at the same time, the privacy, the way that wellness, holds their cards close to the vest when it comes to the participant, and give them grace. Treat them with a little dignity when they come in at one of the most weakest moments of their lives, and they come in to seek the help that perhaps mine came by way of a job, but theirs call for following up, in terms of an outpatient program, and perhaps even treatment of a sort that is specifically designed for that particular person.
Wow.
Interesting. And I love what the Center for Trauma Innovation program, I love that program, what it stands for. It just basically is tailored to folks who are marginalized, to folks who are immigrants, to folks who are people of color. What are you guys' feelings and perspectives with that particular program?
With CTI, I love CTI because you can go in and you can talk to anyone, no insurance needed. And at any point in time, and that's any one of us, you could be either an employee, someone fresh off the street. You don't have to be part of Exodus. You could just be someone that just want to talk to someone. You can walk right into CTI and get that therapy.
Wow, I love that.
We also feed the community every day at 12 o'clock.
Really?
No, you don't.
Tell us about that.
Tell us about that. I didn't know that, Carmen.
Every day we have a cook downstairs in the main building. He makes either food or sandwiches, but every day, 12 o'clock, anybody can come eat off the streets.
I love it.
You don't have to be a part of Exodus.
See, and that is
this is
so,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, that is so important. That's how you're actually helping in a tangible way. That's how you're helping folks, being able to just eat a meal. And that's the thing a lot of people take for granted too. You don't realize that every meal that you have, you're like, oh, I didn't eat enough today. It's like, you had like 2.5 meals. Some people don't even have a bar to eat.
True.
It's
true.
And it's kind of putting that into perspective. So it's great that you guys offer that. But I wonder, so are there any programs for the young, for the youth at Exodus that you guys help, so maybe keep them from even having to come to Exodus, so they don't even have to go to prisons, or anything you guys do with the youth?
Like prevention programs. That's good.
So this is the good part as far as I'm concerned, because there is a youth program. I'm not certain who oversees it now. There's been some changes in the agency. What's awesome is, as long as we do not have contact with them in ATI, that means someone's doing something right in the main building.
Got it.
We try to reach them early on, like you mentioned, the peace brokers. What peace brokers have, for example, they have credibility.
Yeah.
They're able to walk into the community, and some guys are even recognized from, like they say back in the day, oh, wait a minute, if this guy's coming here to intervene, where the NYPD or the Guardian Angels can't get in. There are other peace brokers. Guys like William Steele, they go in and they make the difference that you want made within the community. So when you have the youth department, you have people that are there that are meeting them, as Carmen said before, where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, you want to address a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
This day and age, you need to know your audience, know the 16-year-old.
The lingo.
But we do have that.
That's true.
Yes, and at the same time, 25 years, the mission has been one and the same with Mr. Medina.
Yeah.
And, you know, you take whatever it is critics may say, but Julio Medina and Exodus has put skin in the game. They have been there. They continue to be there for the community, and I am a part, you know, of the fruits of that labor, if you may. As you can see, that we're even hosting our 16th gala, which I think
I saw that, which is in October. I believe October 16th. Am I
October
correct?
16th.
It's around October 16th.
25 years open.
25 years open. Tell us about that gala. I know you guys are going to attend. How excited are you?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
minus the
I'm
tuxedo.
excited.
I'm good.
Say it again?
Minus the tuxedo part.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it's a requirement, but
I
it's
love that. I love that. I want to know, what does Mr. Julio Medina mean to you, Carmen?
Well, when I see him, I give him a handshake, but I also try to give him a little quick hug because he's very inspirational to me. The Exodus gives you a platform where you could be yourself, no judging, and someone's just like you. You know, at one point they say, put your past behind you. Don't think about it. Exodus gives you a path to where you can still talk about your past, relate to the person that's in front of you, and help them become the person that you are today.
And not be paralyzed by your past.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
like that, to utilize it as an agent of power.
Yep.
I love that. What does Mr. Julio Medina mean to you, Will?
Well, interestingly enough, I believe he is the only CEO that could step in a room and you wouldn't even know he was there. Because he blends in so well.
Yep.
Whether he's wearing a suit with his fitted cap, but ultimately because he is Exodus. He is exactly what walks through those doors daily, seeking the assistance that we promise. Most agency promise. We'd like to fulfill that. There's no such thing as come back tomorrow if we didn't accomplish anything today.
And how long was he justice impacted?
I think he did
12 years.
12 years.
That's a long time.
Yes.
That's over a decade. So now that he's done 12 years, you've done 6.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have completed your 25-year sentencing. I'm curious, what does freedom look like to you now?
I tell some of the participants now that are in the group, when I came home, I cherished the freedom even if I was broke. So that meant more, like I was walking from 105th to Yankee Stadium and happy I didn't have a limit. I wasn't stopped. So I treasure more of my freedom even if I didn't have anything. I'm just happy that I'm free.
It's the little things, right, that you take for granted.
Wow.
Just being able to walk
pavement.
100 yards, put
Yeah.
your feet on the pavement.
That part, right?
Wow. What about you, Will?
Just being able to have a conversation outside of myself with someone who would be able to understand and not quickly draw to conclusions simply on the basis that I've been just as impacted.
Wow. I mean, you guys, I know that we have to let you go. And of course, I want you guys to tell our viewers where they can find Exodus, where it's located, the website, the Instagram handle, etc. But my last question, what does your family think about how well you turned out? How much you've changed your life? How much work it took to turn your life around? Mother, father, spouses, what does your family think?
Well, for me, I definitely put my mother through a lot, but I can say I've changed, transitioned, and she loved the woman I am today.
Wow, I love that. Don't do that to me, Carmen. I love that. What about you, Will?
Of course, my mother, who would do the whole prison sentence with me,
Yep.
and still resides in Brownsville.
Wow.
And I have 2 adult children. I have a son who's a police officer in Florida. So the proof is in the pudding. You know, I couldn't tell them all throughout their lives what they should be doing, lest I be seen hypocritical, but I was the guy that was always telling them what they shouldn't do. I promise you that does not work.
Don't do
And
that.
he took on the right path, and he's trying to contribute to the better of society himself, and he's proud of the fact that I've come out and this time I've sought to pay it forward.
I love that.
Good for you.
Well, you guys, look in the camera. I want you guys to give somebody a tip who's going through what you guys went through. What's the best piece of advice you can offer in conclusion?
I would say keep your head up. If you need any help, I'm always one to help. My name is Carmen Ortiz. Come to 123rd and 3rd ATI and look for me, and I will help you with whatever. Even if I can help you with Exodus, I'm definitely willing to step out the box.
Yeah. What about you, Will?
Beautiful.
2268 3rd Avenue. That's the place to begin. If you're coming home from a prison sentence, male, female, does not matter. 18 years of age, does not matter, because we're there to help. Exodus is the place to go, and we're not talking just job and lunch. Whatever it is, you have trauma, you need to speak to someone. Give us a chance. We're not giving up on you. Don't give up on us.
Love it. I love it. And on the bottom, you guys can see their website and their Instagram. It is etcny.org.
Yeah, etcny.org. Thank you guys so much for being
thank
here.
you guys.
So appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We have more of the show on this Wednesday when we return.
Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Our women are not born criminals. You don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a murderer, or I'm going to abuse my child, or I'm going to do drugs. This is unresolved trauma, untreated trauma, and it's a mental illness. And, don't lock her up, please. Let's get her some help. Let her come to Exodus. We have an alternative to incarceration program that can assist her, and we enter her back into society and reunite her with her children. And in most cases, I've succeeded, and once you come through these doors here at Exodus, we will help you.